turn scars into skits, old wounds into bits. Every call in, every friend feels like Sunday once again. From the grind to the glow up, glass half empty, you pour more up. You take the weight we hold below and lift it on the lava walk of show. This that Lavar walk of show, where the real ones talk and the wild thoughts go. We laugh, we cry, yeah, we let it roll. Healing through a joke and a story for the soul. This that Lavar walk of show, turn it up loud, let the whole block know. From pain to punchlines, watch the wisdom glow. Yeah, this that Lavar walk of show. Hey, some days heavy, some days light. You still find a way to make it feel alright. When the world's too loud, when the bill's too high, I press play, hear your voice, and I remember why. This that Lavar walk of show, where the real ones talk and the wild thoughts go. We laugh, we cry.
Yo, what's happening? Welcome back to the greatest show on the face of the earth. We are back in the building again. What is the day, man? It's Thursday. Top of the hour, 9 a.m., 9:01 a.m. is Thursday, man. Hope you guys are having a good day. We almost through the week. I will be on my way to Michigan this weekend to perform at Jazzy Jokes comedy. It's not a festival, but it's it's like jazz and jokes, man. It's pretty cool. The VIP is sold all the way out, and I'll be there performing. Get some footage. If you are in my friend, what is that? My subscriber group on YouTube, the paid membership subscriptions. I'm gonna put that behind the wall. Y'all can check that out. And I also have some news. I guess I could just share this with y'all, man. So when did I get this call? Last week, I get a call. I get a text from an LA number, and the text said, "Hey, I don't know how I could introduce it because it means so much to me." But the text said, "Hey, this comedian saw your performance, and he wants you to come to film and be a part of this show." And I said, "This comedian? What?" Well, I know the comedian, but I'm just building up. He wants you to come perform and be a part of this show. I said, "For real?" He's like, "Yeah, he loved the performance." And ladies and gentlemen, that comedian's name is Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence, my idol, the reason for my being a comedian, has seen my stuff. And next week, I'll be going to film a show called Pass the Mic in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And that'll be hosted by Joe Coy. Joe Coy will be hosting that, I believe. I don't know where the show is going to land. However, everything is signed, everything is dotted, and I'll be on the way. And shout out to everybody that's been rocking with me, rock with my stand up, and everybody that's supporting me and watching me build this brick by brick. As I've said, being independent, nobody's ice is colder than mine. Nobody's ice is colder than yours. And with faith and work and dedication, things happen. Things happen. Control what you can control and push through. And to the comedians out there, quit all that begging shit. Quit begging. Quit kissing ass, because the industry really doesn't have a lot of power anymore. And you just have to put your work out, bro. You know what I mean? You just got to do what you got to do. Put your own work out, build your own networks, um, and just stop looking for the handout. Stop looking for the handout because when a lot of y'all are begging, it kind of devalues what it is we do, right? So I'm I beg every day, right? But I beg my begging is the work that I'm putting out. This is me begging. When I go do an open mic, when I'm doing these podcasts, when I'm doing these videos, that is my beg. Build value, right? Beg from within. Like you have to build value along the way. And that's where it is, man. But we gonna get into it today, man. But no, from the bottom of my heart, man, I really appreciate y'all rocking with me. We had a really big show yesterday when we talked about what was going on in Gary, Indiana. Prayers go out to everybody in Gary, Indiana. Hopefully we can get those lights turned back on. But I'm gonna tell my brothers and sisters in Gary, Indiana, I've been getting some word back that y'all are shooting at the electrical workers. Please, just let them do the work so they can turn the power back on. Don't shoot at the people in the vans. Don't try to rob them. Please, just let them do their job to restore the power that the community needs. I'm gonna try to do the show without cussing because they demonetize a lot of my videos. Even though I'm real passionate about what I'm talking about. But please, brothers and sisters in Gary, please stop. We also too we had just had some gifts come in. Shout out to Extra Convo who just gave us 30 jewels. Extra Combo kicked in 30 jewels with the super chat, 10 jewels there, 10 jewels there, and 10 jewels there. I'm just starting new to these gifts on YouTube. I don't know what they mean, but thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. But we're gonna get into it. Oh, what's happening? Angelia Adams. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to Shreveport. Thank you, Key Jack. Um, oh, that's big, man. They should replace the Breakfast Club with the LeVar Walker Show and Grits and Eggs podcast. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Oh, we got another super chat. Next level TAC. Put it in the cuss jar. Put it in the cuss jar. Thank you, brother, for for blessing me with that love, man. But we're gonna get into it, man. I know y'all been watching this this whole Tupac trial is very, very interesting to me. It's a 30-year-old trial. We're seeing a lot of discovery in that trial. You're seeing these elderly former gangsters like Mob James, and you see a Mob James. We're watching Keefe D. We're watching Reggie Wright Jr. All these guys are in their 60s and beyond, um, and they're in trial over something that happened 30 years ago, and it brings a little bit of nostalgia, and it also is a lesson because when I look at these guys and how bad they look, it just shows the youth, and I hope the youth are watching this, man. Leave them streets alone, man. And we have to do a better job in the community at shaming. Once again, I'm big on shaming street guys and street narrative, and really just shaming anything that hurts our people, especially hurting our people by our people. And I get it. A lot of people go, well, what are the conditions and all? I get that, but we have to shame it, and it has to like stop within the communities, and we got to love each other, man. We can't just sit here be gangster and what I mean, just try to champion that, a champion extortion in these neighborhoods, a champion gang life. We have to really stop it because it's only hurting us. And the more and more I watch this trial, the more and more these cops come forward and they talk about the Crips and the Bloods, I'm thinking to myself, and I've said this before in previous podcasts, have you noticed, like immigration, right? You see how fast they crack down on immigration? We got to get them out. Get out the immigrant. Legal immigrants, they're dangerous. They're this, they're that, they're that, they're that. And they just shut it off. Like, you know what I mean? It's very, very hard to come in this country legally. And I'm watching this and I'm seeing them talk about the Bloods and the Crips like they're superheroes or Avengers in these communities. And I'm like, well, why doesn't the federal government just put in place, turn all gangs into domestic terrorists or homeland security threats with automatic 30-year sentences? And the reason they don't is because I believe that all gangs are used as a form of control by the CIA to oppress black people in the community. And this is a way you are controlled, or we are controlled by these guys, through extortion, through, uh, just robs and robbing people and shooting and hurting and harming people. So it's definitely a control method. So I look at it quite differently. Like if you telling me you a big gangster and what you've done to black people, you're sickening. Like I look at you like a rabid dog that needs to be put down. Like that's sickening to me. You're not going to sit here and brag to me about how you harm your own kind in the name of nothing. You own nothing. You don't own anything on the block. You don't do anything for the community. So it's really sickening. So without digress, we're gonna get into watching this to see what's going on. So much was happening in this court case, and I'm gonna bring some stuff up here. Let me see here. Do y'all hear something? Oh, I thought I heard something. I mean, they bringing up a lot. They bringing up a lot in this. So yeah, Patrick Deshaun, shout out to Pat. Yeah, bro, that's a rough life, bro. It's no different than the mafia, but where's the mafia? The mafia gone, bro. The mafia is gone, and I don't know because I'm not like Italian or around Italian people, but I don't see the children glorifying mafia. I don't see little Italian kids going, "Hey, well, Tony Baloney, you want to be? This is the guy." I don't see that. You know what I mean? I'm just talking about we glorifying. We need to shame this stuff out of our communities. Um, so we're gonna listen to this. Let's check this out on Law and Crime. Let me see what we got here.
Mr. Davis's version of events as it relates to what happened with Tupac Shakur.
Mr. Davis stated that his nephew, Mr. Orlando Anderson, was jumped and beat up in a club or in a hotel in Las Vegas after the Tyson fight. He came and told Mr. Davis what happened. They went looking for Tupac, Suge, anybody who was involved, basically, in the beatdown of Mr. Anderson. And they couldn't find him at first, and then they saw him, and basically, Mr. Davis had the gun at first, but they came up on the passenger side of Suge Knight and Mr. Shakur's vehicle, so he couldn't shoot across the driver. So he handed the gun to Dre in the back seat, Andre Smith. He was afraid to shoot. Mr. Anderson grabbed the gun and shot across Mr. Smith into Mr. Knight's car that Mr. Tupac Shakur was in with Mr. Knight.
And did he tell you what kind of vehicle he was in?
He was in a white Cadillac,
Did he tell you what kind of gun was used?
a 40 cal Glock.
After receiving this information in March of 2009, does the task force sign Mr. Davis up as a confidential informant?
Yes.
And once you sign him up as a confidential informant, what is it that you want to do with Mr. Davis?
Figure out ways to see if he's telling the truth about his story, about what happened.
And so what do you do?
Mr. Davis had a narcotics friend in New York by the name of Equan Williams, Zip. He said he could, this is a lot deeper than that. Sean Puffy Combs was supposed to have given money to Zip Martin to give to Mr. Davis for payment of the Tupac murder. Fast forward, we go to Mr. Davis.
Oh my God. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Now Diddy is being implicated in these crimes. So they saying Diddy gave $1 million for that? This is insane.
He says he can rekindle that relationship with Mr. Zip Martin and get him to talk about the money that was given from Sean Puffy Combs to Mr. Martin that never got to Mr. Davis.
You brought up the fact that Mr. Davis said, well, basically, Sean Puffy Combs solicited the murder of Suge and Tupac during the course of that conversation.
Yeah.
Did he tell you where that conversation occurred?
It's a deli called Greenblatt's, still there on Sunset in Hollywood in Los Angeles.
If he never provides that portion of the information, what jurisdiction would LA have to be investigating a homicide that occurred in Las Vegas? None? So it was that piece of information which provided LAPD jurisdiction to even be looking at this murder.
You could say that.
When you were talking to Mr. Davis and he's telling you what he's telling you, did you have reason to doubt his version of events as it relates to the homicide itself?
I didn't think Mr. Davis was lying because he put the gun in his nephew's hand. And if anybody knows anything, from what I hear, Mr. Orlando Anderson was the man besides Keefe D in that neighborhood. He was the prince, and his family loved him. I didn't think that Mr. Davis would put the gun in his own nephew's hand, dead or alive, and put that smut on him unless it was true. The person that killed Tupac, well, in the neighborhood, he's a hero. In the world, he's a villain. So I didn't think Mr. Davis, me personally, would do that unless it was true with his own nephew, because I know he loved his nephew. They all loved Orlando.
Wow. So we are watching Diddy be implicated once again in this. And in that, I just got a few questions myself, because Tupac was definitely murdered before Biggie. And I don't really believe that Diddy was on that Diddy wasn't on that kind of time. I don't think he was on that type of time, to be honest. I don't know how this happened, but when they talk about Eric Von Zip Martin just happened to be around or something after Pac and them jumped old boy, and he handed them a gun. He didn't necessarily say go do a hit. He just handed them the gun, and then this ties back to Diddy. So I'm not too sure how this story corroborates. I do know that also in this discovery, they're seeing that Biggie, they're kind of unraveling the Biggie murder too, because another cop, a CIA agent, whatever agent he was, testified that Reggie Wright Jr., who's the security for Suge Knight for Death Row Records, took out Biggie. And, Biggie died, I don't know, 8 months later. So it was, this is interesting, man. Oh, shout out to Educated Paper, man, for coming in, joining, becoming a new YouTube member on the channel. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you for joining the family. Let me see. There was another guy. And then we could look at this Mob James. This is
Knocked
Mob
you out one
James.
time.
I'd have killed him.
This is Mob James. And kids, I want y'all to pay attention because this is what it looks like. If you want to be a gangster, this is what you're going to grow old and look like. You're going to be missing teeth, broke, depressed, with nothing. Keefe D has, no, I mean, not Keefe, well, Keefe D don't have nothing, but Mob James too. Let's see.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Then I'm not going to speak on Orlando. Let me ask you something about yourself. There was a rumor that Tupac had knocked you out one time.
I'd have killed him.
That would have been your response if that happened.
Yeah, I'm being honest with you and everybody else. I said it on my podcast show. Him, Suge, and my brother. I'd have shot all three of them if he touched me.
Why
That's
is that?
how I was living.
Why is that?
That's what I was back then.
And so, is it fair to say that your reputation and your standing in the neighborhood would require you to do something if you're going to get punked by somebody like Tupac?
You don't have a choice, or you can't be there.
I'm sorry. We're doing some side talking.
Oh, my
No, that's my fault. I asked, would that being in the life that you were, if somebody like Tupac is punking you, like by punching you in the face or something like that, you would have to retaliate, or you would lose your place in the neighborhood.
You would have to go back home and fight everybody that called you a punk. You would have to go. There's some rules that you roll with, and some rules you just got to handle. Certain things need to be dealt with, adjusted, living that life. And when I was living that life, it wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts. It wasn't no, oh, you get a pass. No, I'd have shot him.
And that's just a typical day, I believe, in LA and in gang life. But this is what that ultimately leads to. Now, you know what's kicking his ass? High blood pressure, hypertension, an inflamed prostate. I can look cirrhosis of the liver, uh, osteoporosis. These are the things now that he has to fight, and he probably won't win that fight. See, it's nothing you can do, but it's unreal, man. Extra Convo says Diddy had gave the guy Zip $1 million, but Zip never gave Keefe D dude no money. Okay, well, if Diddy gave that guy a million, they would have to prove that that was a hit, and I don't think Zip had anything to do with this, so I don't know how they would tie that together. I mean, boy, Diddy is just having it rough, man. You know what I mean? I don't believe he should be in jail for what happened. But karma, man, Diddy has obviously done a lot of people wrong, and karma has a funny way of showing up. So it's unreal. Let me see. I mean, and then Keefe D was an informant. Keefe D was telling, they all telling on each other. One of the main things you learn is just look, man, in that life ain't no honor amongst thieves, man. It don't matter how cool you think you are with somebody, man, they gonna tell on your ass, boy. They gonna tell. They gonna break. You cannot win this game. You can't. Now I was looking at a guy earlier today. Let me pull that up. What I saw. I want to share this with you guys. Let me show you guys. Go to my history here. Hold on. Let me see if I could find that. Now,
In all of the vehicle.
this is Reggie Wright breaking down what happened. They say Reggie Wright was selling dope and all kind of stuff, man. I'm trying to find.
Security tonight. We drove in behind them. As we was getting out of the vehicle, or getting ready to park, Mr. Shakur saw Christopher Wallace and Puffy and a group of people, a few guys that I recognized from the South Side, in that entourage. As they were, Mr. Shakur immediately became enraged and started yelling, and confrontation between Mr. Small, Biggie, and Mr. Shakur took place, to the point where one of their guys brandished a weapon. And then that's when I pulled my firearm and towards him and begged with him, pleaded with him not to raise the gun. There was some security from the Nation of Islam there. They got in the middle of it, broke us up. The gentlemen took off and ran towards the street in the parking lot.
I'm sorry, who ran towards the street?
The gentleman with the gun and a couple of the people that was with him took off.
I can look at Reggie. Look at Reggie Wright, man. Reggie Wright ain't to be trusted, bro. You could look at, boy. Reggie Wright don't look like nobody you trust, bro.
Off and ran.
Now, you said that Southside was providing that type of backup.
They were with them in entourage. Sir.
Reggie Wright looked like the kind of dude to knock your head off, will set you up and do your ass dirty.
Do you recall whether Dwayne Davis was one of those people?
Believe he was. I know he was with them, but like I said, I don't believe he was the one with the gun.
This is crazy. Pull up the shout out the extra convo. All right, I'm gonna pull that up. I'm gonna pull up the Suge Knight TMZ interview to see what Suge had to say about this, man. This is just insane to me. And then it goes back, bro. Keefe D just so dumb, bro. Like, this nigga had a proffer and he go to make money, and Reggie Wright kind of, in the defense's argument, they say that Reggie Wright kind of turned Keefe D on to doing these interviews. Man, you can make this money, yada, yada, yada. Maybe he did that to set up Reggie so that Reggie would go out and tell on himself and write books and end up in this situation. All right, here we go. Wait a minute, y'all. Let's see. Let's see.
You and I had a talk last night, and you were kind of grousing about people who were testifying that aren't telling the real story. Would you explain to our viewers, please?
Oh, first of all, my opinion, Tupac was the most incredible person you can have as a friend, as a brother, and still today, his morals. Number one, all of you guys perjuring themselves on the oath. Number one, James never worked for me, never was head of security for me, and I can see he's a little bitter because Tupac put him on his pockets before. But the most important thing to this is that they're not coming in to get the truth. Everybody knows he's an FBI informant.
Wait a minute. Tupac did what? Let me rewind that. Tupac did what?
Coming in to get the truth. Everybody knows security for me, And I can see he's a little bitter because Tupac put him on his pockets before. But the most important thing in this is that they're not coming in to get the truth. Everybody knows he's an FBI informant. Everybody knows he's a rat. So why we got to act like he's going to tell the truth? Don't Keefe D and James.
So hold on. I just want, you're saying that James McDonald, the guy who testified, said that he worked for Death Row Records, talked about what he saw that night. You're saying he did not work for you at all?
No. Now, he might have been at the club hanging out trying to hustle people and not putting the guy down or nothing like that, but he's an informant. He didn't work for me. If he would worked for me, he would have had a death row chain. He would have had a ring. You would have seen him in pictures around us hanging out. No. One other thing that's very important. It's time for a change. You have people who've been talking to me like Universal for doing a movie or documentary to get all the information from my side, because I am Death Row, talk about Death Row. Now they want to do with Snoopy, which I'm going to sue the shit out of him, because you have a lawyer that David Kenner gave all my files to and gave it to him to use my stuff. So it's very important that people always, these guys at Universal who's trying to do these things at one-on-one, stop making people deal with street justice. We should be grown enough to deal with regular justice.
So wait, are you saying you're
like
going to sue? You're going to sue Universal? Or you're going to sue Snoop?
Well, Snoop is nobody, but I'm gonna sue Universal for taking my personal stuff. That's like when you look at it, Harvey. How is it every company that's way worse than the Death Row catalog sells for $300 million, $400 million? They offer me $700 million, but then they go and get it for $25 million. The same people who did the default justice against me. It's crazy.
Man. And then Suge ain't never getting out, bro. Suge gonna be 90 trying to sue these people. Boy, this is wild, man. This is wild. Hip hop, man, this whole industry is it's just crazy. It is crazy. What's happening? We got somebody in here from Southside Compton. What's happening? Richie. What is that? Richie Ave. Richie Ave. Shout out Richie Ave. What's up, man? I see you. What you got to say? What's up? What's happening? What you got to say to the chat? How do you feel about this, Richie? What's going on in Compton? How does Compton feel about this? Oh, put him on his pockets. Tupac beat up Mob James. Okay. Yeah, y'all tap that thumbs up button, man. Let's try to get this thing moving. Thank you for calling that out, Next Level. It's a wild trial, bro. You say the they're getting political. You say the Democratic Party was supporting all this? They getting political now. Let's not get too political in the chat. Let's just stay on point here. I need some more of this Keefe D, though. Let me see. It was one guy that was talking. He really gave a good insight, and I'm trying to look for that now. Yeah, let me see.
At the time you lived in Compton.
No, that's not it. It's a part where they say he confessed.
Investigation does.
Okay. This is the guy. We'll pull that up as well. So how do you okay, good. We got somebody that grew up with Keefe D. So Richie, I've been going in on Keefe D. I ain't gonna lie. I just think like The situation is grim. However, Richie, you know, Keith bought it on himself, man, with the books, the podcast, the interview. So I have been calling Keefe D, Keefe dumb. I'm not gonna even lie. Uh, why, bro? Like, why? It's one thing to do this, but why tell on yourself? And if you want to just chime in and explain that, bro, like it's like why tell on yourself, man? Right? You know what I mean? I get it. Like I'm anti-street nigga myself. I gotta stop cussing, but why tell on yourself? If you in the life, if you did this act, why go out for profit and try to tell these stories and write this book and do this, bro? I'm gonna let Richie Ave come in and tell us that the good brother from Compton. But let's take a look at this real quick. Let me go.
Investigation, does there come a point in time when you do what's known as a proffer with Mr. Davis?
Yes, we did.
And describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what a proffer is.
So a proffer interview session would be, it's usually considered, it's a fairly common practice in the federal criminal justice system where we have an individual who's been indicted and arrested, and it sort of is the beginning of a negotiation for a plea agreement, if you will. What we do is the U.S. Attorney's Office, the defendant's attorney, they all agree that to conducting an interview with the FBI. The terms of that agreement are such that the defendant has to be open and candor, tell the truth regarding the questions that we ask him. In return, the FBI, Department of Justice, will not use what the defendant says in that proffer session against him in this case in chief that we have him charged with. There's a couple little caveats. One being that if during trial the defendant goes on to make statements that contradict what he said in that proffer session, at that point it violates it, and we can use his statements against him. You know, those are generally in nature. And then we agree to keep the nature of the interview confidential.
You gotta maybe
That was the cop. We got and shout out to Richie for responding, bro. And also want to ask you too, Richie, what is the what is the climate like in Compton right now? Is the Compton climate still that of gang life, or has it changed? Has Compton been like, I guess, gentrified? Is it a calmer environment? Is the environment still that of the streets? Is it still that 90s feeling there, Richie? Just let us know. Defense cooked them with the cross though. I gotta check that out. Shout out to Teasy Kaziba. Okay, Teasy Kaziba says, so we believe that this crooked cop is saying. We're supposed to believe Keefe D was able to pull off one of the most mysterious murders of our time, but he was dumb enough to tell on himself. The same cop who disarmed Death Row security the night Pac got shot and sent Michael Moore, the only bodyguard who wouldn't give up his gun, to be at a cash register at the club. Now go watch his interviews. He said, I never said they couldn't have guns. I said they couldn't have them at the club. What does this have to do? Because what does that have to do with Pac? Pac got shot in the street, bro. I don't get what you're trying to say here, Teasy. Could you elaborate on that statement that we'll get back to it? But okay. It's not as bad as it was from 90s to 2010, but it still gets tricky from time to time. Huh. Has the areas been gentrified more out there? Do you think it's safer? Is it safe in Compton right now? Is it safe to come visit Compton? Well, we're going to look up this Wade Lee. Agent Wade Lee. I want to get some more from him because he said a lot. Compton is not safe in Compton. I wanna challenge y'all with this, right? It's not safe. I wouldn't recommend anyone visit unless you know someone. Now, let me ask you this, Richie, and I want you to keep it funky with me. Why does this only apply to black people? That's the issue I have a lot of times with the streets and gangbanging and shit. If I come to Compton, me as a black man, and I got on a certain color, I will be harassed. But however, if Bob comes from HR, he can wear whatever color he wants. He can wear whatever hat he wants. But as a black man that's not even in gangs, I'm quickly identified as a op, and I'm pressed. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? How I believe like a lot of this activity is a CIA psyop. Like it's really sad. If a black dude, white dude, we got on same color, they only gonna press the brother, man. Think about that. And you could speak to that, bro. Um, I want to look up this agent Wade Lee because he's the guy who flipped Keefe D. He's the guy that got Keefe D to talk. This is the agent. Let me see. And this is the full testimony here.
At Fastly, we drive web performance and security, protecting you from malicious bots and DDoS attackers that can take down your site instantly. We keep your site.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this section shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
You may be seated. May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
My name is Wade Lee, Wageelee.
Thank you, Mr. Lee, for being here. Mr. DeJockel, whenever you're ready, you may proceed.
Okay, let me just get the clerk the next thing.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Um, and I want to, before I start this, so you say there's no reason for Bob to be there. And what she's referring to is me talking about me as a black man entering Compton and being pressed. Say I took a wrong turn. Say my car broke down in the area. Say I'm in the area, right? And I don't even know where I'm at. I'm just a tourist. I'm visiting. I will be pressed. Bob won't. If Bob's car breaks down, if he makes a wrong turn and he gets out of that car with a certain color on, he won't be pressed. I will. So I'm just speaking to just the insanity of it all and how a lot of the gang activity is only used as a tool to oppress black people, to keep black people inside of those communities oppressed. It's a tool. That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to say. So you can't say there will be no reason for me to be there. What would be my reason to be there? So you can't say that. And I'm being uh oppressed. Getting violent treatment from my own people. Why is that? And we need to speak to it. Well, the white man, just as me, the car could break down, wrong turn. So what are we talking about? He could be a tourist, a visitor, but he won't be pressed by black people. I will. Do you see where I'm going with that? That's all I'm trying to say. And shout out to Richie. Richie, you 40? That's what's up, bro. Um, yeah. But you know why Bob really won't be? Because Bob's gonna call the police. Bob's gonna call the police. That's why. Or maybe they think Bob is a cop. But my black ass, I gotta get jumped, beat, robbed by my own people. because I just so happen to be in a neighborhood with the wrong colors on. I could be from Sunflower, Mississippi, a small town, not even knowing about gang life. And I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan or something. I just got my hat on now. I'm getting beat down. Just how we were beat at the Pettus Bridge. Except the people beating me look like me. So that's all. I just speak to that. And then the OGs feel like they can't tell the YNs what to do because we did the same thing when we were young too. So it's just a tricky thing, huh? Yeah, man, you can interview me for your podcast, bro, anytime. I ain't tripping. We can sit down, chop it up. Shout out to Mr. Lead with love. You say you had a student from Sunflower. That's funny. Well, all right. Let me quit talking. Let's get back to this here.
Sir, back in the 90s, how were you employed?
I was a special agent with the FBI.
How long were you with the FBI?
25 years.
And when did you start?
May of 1996.
May of 1996?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been retired that long, actually.
5 years.
I want to direct your attention to the 1997, 1998 time period. What was your assignment? What were you doing for the FBI at that time?
I was assigned to a squad that was working in State Streets Task Force. I was basically the Violent Crimes Major Offenders program, working gangs in South Central LA.
You said Project Safe Street, and that's a federal task force that has multi-agency people on it?
Yes, that's correct. The way it was generally organized, there were several squads in LA, the LA division of the FBI, that were assigned to different regions of the area, the territories. My squad was assigned to the Watts area of Los Angeles, South Central.
And as part of your duties, did you have a partner by the name of Agent Holiday?
Yeah, Todd Holiday, yes.
Did there come a point in time when the two of you, along with other members of your squad, begin an investigation into a criminal street gang by the name of Grape Street?
Yes, it was.
Can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what Grape Street is?
Grape Street, the Grape Street Crips was a large gang organization that operated out of the Jordan Downs housing projects in Watts. It was basically believed to be the largest Crip set in all of America. Our squad was working the violent aspects and drug dealing and aspects of that organization.
As part of your investigation into Grape Street, did you come across a person that you identified as Dwayne Davis?
Yes.
And do you see Mr. Davis here in court today?
Yes, I do.
Can you point him out, describe something he's wearing?
It's the gentleman sitting in the at the defendant's table with the blue shirt and tie.
With that voice, he could have been anything but a cop. I mean, he's just sitting there talking like, yep, that is him right there.
You know, in sports, what they say? Speed kills. Competitive advantage. Guess what? Same thing in finance. And
how is it that you came across Mr. Davis?
During the course of our investigation with Grape Street, when you're looking at the organization, there was numerous techniques that we used for investigating, whether it was informants, wiretaps, surveillance, active interviews, and things of that nature. During the course of that interview, Mr. Davis kind of came under the umbrella under the course of our investigation of one of his associate family members by the individual of the name Rodney Blackman.
And did Rodney have a nickname?
Speedy.
During the time period that you're doing this investigation, Well, let me ask you this. As part of Project Safe Streets, as well as being assigned to the Watts area, were you aware of the various gang sets and their
Yeah, I mean, while our squad was working that investigation on Grape Street, you always would have crossover in other areas. For example, in Watts, there were 3 main housing project areas. Each of them you had fairly prominent gang organizations, as well as gangs that came up from the Compton area and other parts of South Central Los Angeles. So there's usually crossover, whether it's from drug activity or other sort of gang violence, things like that.
And you mentioned one of them, the Jordan Downs.
Yes.
What type of housing, what type of gang activity was going on in the Jordan Downs?
So Grape Street Crips operated out of Jordan Downs housing projects, and they basically controlled that whole housing project as far as the drug trafficking, violent activity, and things of that nature.
If somebody were hiding out from blood gang members hunting him, and he was a Crip, obviously, would it be safe for him to be inside the Jordan Downs?
Yeah, from other rival gangs and things of that nature, yes, generally speaking.
And you mentioned that Mr. Davis had a cousin, I'm going to call Speedy. At some point, do you wind up learning information that allows you to arrest Mr. Davis for some criminal offenses?
Yes, we were part of our investigation while we were up on Mr. Blackman. There was a period of time when Mr. Davis actually was staying with David with Blackman. It was actually after the Tupac Shakur murder. During the course of our investigation of the Grape Street Crips and of Blackman and things like that, we were able to obtain information and evidence to develop a case against Mr. Davis.
And can you just describe the general allegations of the case?
It was drug trafficking, 2 kilos. He was indicted and arrested for selling 2 kilos of cocaine.
And the type of evidence you had against Mr. Davis, what was it?
Most of it was telephone conversation intercepts from wiretaps, court authorized wiretaps.
And based upon the charges, ultimately, do you indict Mr. Davis for some crimes related to drug trafficking?
Yes, he was indicted, arrested, and then eventually pled guilty.
The type of sentence Mr. Davis was facing when he was indicted, what kind of ranges are we talking for those kind of charges?
I believe it was around somewhere in the nature of 10 years and initially, but it varies depending on, individuals' prior criminal history, whether they were felony convictions, drug trafficking offenses, and things of that nature. It also varies depending on the type of drug that the individual might have been accused of trafficking. Back then, and at that time period, the federal sentencing guidelines, there was a difference in sentencing for rock cocaine, crack cocaine versus regular powder cocaine and things of that nature. And he was indicted for trafficking 2 kilos of powder cocaine.
As part of that investigation, does there come a point in time when you do what's known as a proffer with Mr. Davis?
Yes, we did.
And describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what a proffer is.
So a proffer interview session would be, it's usually considered, it's a fairly common practice, particularly in the federal criminal justice system, where we have an individual who's been indicted and arrested, and it sort of is the beginning of a negotiation for a plea agreement, if you will. What we do is the U.S. Attorney's Office, the defendant's attorney, they all agree that to conducting an interview with the FBI. The terms of that agreement are such that the defendant has to be open and candor, tell the truth regarding the questions that we ask him. In return, the FBI, Department of Justice, will not use what the defendant says in that proffer session against him in this case, in chief that we have him charged with. There's a couple little caveats. One being that if during trial the defendant goes on to make statements that contradict what he said in that proffer session, at that point it violates it, and we can use his statements against him. Those are generally in nature. And we agree to keep the nature of the interview confidential.
We're going to build the platform that every single company is going to run their legal team on in 5 years' time. $70 million.
You got a maybe approach?
Yeah.
What happened to the sound?
The Tupac Shakur murder?
Yes, referring to the TUI letter, yes.
Your 1998 proffer with Mr. Davis. Well, first of all, were you by yourself, or did you have your partner Todd Holliday with you?
Todd Holliday attended, as well as the Assistant United States Attorney, along with the attorney for Mr. Davis, who were also there.
And what was his name?
I referred to by.
Well, I have what's marked as State Proposed Exhibit 46. I know you got a copy
Okay.
there.
That's fine.
How about we use the one that I have marked, and I'll take these back from you.
If reviewing those notes refresh your recollection as to the name of his attorney?
Yes, Edie Fall.
Okay, after reviewing that, has your recollection been refreshed?
Oh, yes. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
And it's Edie Fall?
Yes.
Understood. You may proceed.
First of all, let me ask this. Up until you were contacted sometime this year, have you maintained the confidentiality of this conversation that you have with Mr. Davis?
Yes.
And as far as you're aware, your partner Todd Holliday also maintained the confidentiality of it.
Yes, as far as I know.
And before you hit the stand today, or sometime last week or the week before, or at some point, the United States or the U.S. Attorney's Office issued a letter authorizing you to testify to these two conversations you had with Mr. Davis.
Yes, referring to the TUI letter, yes.
And that's a requirement that state prosecutors have to get permission from the federal government to allow you as an agent or former agent to testify to actions you took in your official capacity as a federal law enforcement officer.
Yes, regarding those two interviews, yes.
How is your proffer with Mr. Davis documented?
Usually we use the standard FBI reporting mechanism, which is a FD 302 report.
And that is essentially a report that lays out the information you receive. There's no audio recording of that particular conversation.
That's correct.
And is there a FBI 302 of what's in front of you? And I forgot the number. Is it 146?
146.
146, is that a fair and accurate copy of the description of the conversation that you were part of with Mr. Davis on July 16th of 1998?
Yes, it is.
Move to admit 146. None.
No objection.
So admitted.
Now, I'm not going to have you go through everything that was in there, but what is your purpose in talking to Mr. Davis in the proffer session?
Well, the purpose is to glean as much information as we can regarding what he knew or knew at the time regarding gang, drug, violent activity going on within the Watts and Compton areas.
Were you investigating directly, at least, the Tupac Shakur murder?
Not directly. Like it wasn't. We weren't assigned. We were working our normal gang activity investigations. However, it was known to us that he was a person of interest. Mr. Davis was a person of interest regarding that homicide.
And so during this proper session, you asked him questions about that as well.
Yes, we did.
I'm going to go through 146 in front of you. And actually, I can roll it up here on the screen for you. Oh, it would help if I plugged the computer in. So that's what the front page of this 302 says. Is confidential and has the date and a description of who the people that are present for this particular proffer are.
That's correct.
The very first part of the interview, and let's close that. There, you have a discussion with Mr. Davis about an individual called Zip. Tell us what he tells you about this individual Zip initially.
Initially, that Zip was an individual from New York who was a pimp who controlled girls, numerous girls, sold marijuana. He did just mention that Zip was involved in PCP trafficking, and that Davis at one point arranged for an individual by the name of Patrick Bernard to give Zip some PCP. So Zip came from New York to LA to conduct the transaction.
Did he also mention how he met Zip?
Yes, he said he met Zip at a baseball game somewhere in approximately 1993 or 94. There was an individual named Fats who's also at the game that introduced Davis to Zip.
And then he talks to you a little bit about who Fats is.
Yeah, Fats was a large cocaine supplier who operated in the west side of LA. He's also known as Flint. Davis associated with Fats.
Boy, Keefe D was singing, bro. Keefe D was leading the choir, boy. That boy was up there singing a whole solo in that police station. I bet he was singing. Look at they open this up, man. He was telling on everybody, man. There is just no honor amongst thieves, bro. The life of crime just don't pay, man. It just never works out.
Prior to 1994, up until basically the time, I guess, where Fats was arrested and taken into federal custody.
I'm going to skip past some Fats. There's a or part of this conversation, a person by the name of Wayne Day comes up. Do you know who Wayne Day is?
Yes, Wayne Day was actually arrested by the squad that I worked on, the Safe Street Task Force. He was a large-scale drug dealer, drug trafficker in the Watts area, Compton, with Grape Street Crips.
And does Davis describe his relationship as it relates to Mr. Day?
Go from running your business solo to fully staffed with Symphony.
Hey, Maestro, I have an open house this weekend. Thoughts?
Agents are on it. Plans in motion, ready when you are.
Yes, there was. He mentioned that they were related. That Davis had an uncle who was the uncle of Wayne Day. Is how he described it.
And then there's a conversation in this next paragraph where Mr. Davis makes mention of Mr. Day having Compton sewn up. What does sewn up mean?
Well, in terms of having control of all the drug trafficking in that specific area. And actually, there was mentioned, agents mentioned to him, it said that Wayne Day had Compton sewn up, and Mr. Davis said actually that he had part of Compton sewn up, that he didn't have the south side part that Davis operated in.
And then does he tell you what his role is in the south side part of Compton as it relates to drug trafficking?
When you say he, you're referring to
Mr. Davis, sorry.
That Mr. Davis had that side of Compton handled as far as the drugs.
And did he talk to you about who handled the north side of Compton?
Yes, he did. It was an individual who was a former Compton PD officer by the name of Reggie Wright Jr.
I'm going to drop down a little bit here to the part where he talks to you about both him and Mr. Blackman being major suppliers in the Jordan Downs housing project in Watts.
That's correct.
And then he begins to talk to you about the start of Death Row Records.
Yeah. Again, that was all part of the, overall investigations that we were looking at as far as the gang activity and things of that nature. And he mentioned there was an individual by the name of Harry O that provided money to start the Death Row Records. Also, what's his name? I believe Patrick Johnson provided approximately $80,000. Actually told Davis to give $80,000 that money that Davis owed to Johnson from previous gang transactions to Johnson's girlfriend, so that money could be used to start Death Row Records.
And he also explains Marion Suge Knight's role and his connection to the Blood gang members.
Yes, he did. He said that Marion Knight had gained control of the North Compton drug trade, and that he was associated with a bunch of the Blood Street gang members, like the Mob Pyrus and such. And they were, getting, the Knight was getting them in and out of, getting them out of jail, bailing them out, and they would cooperate with Knight.
And basically, when Knight goes to prison, he tells you Reggie Wright kind of takes over.
Yeah, Reggie Wright Jr. took over the organization after Suge Knight was arrested.
You already mentioned Harry O, but Davis claims to actually be involved in the delivery of some of the money associated with the startup of Death Row Records.
Yes.
Jump down. I'm going to start to see at the top there. You asked him about his prior relationship with Mr. Knight prior to the murder of Tupac Shakur. You see that paragraph there?
Yeah. I mean, Davis said that he told us that he never had any issues with Suge Knight or any of those individuals prior to the incident in Vegas with the killing of Mr. Shakur.
And Mr. Davis goes on, and I'm going to skip down just a little bit, but he basically accuses two Compton Police Department officers, Sergeant Reynolds and Lieutenant Reggie Wright Sr., the father of Reggie Wright Jr., as basically being corrupt officers.
Yes. Yeah. That Reggie Wright Sr. was a lieutenant with Compton Police Department, and then Reggie Wright Jr. was a former officer with the police department. He had then started a company called Rightway Security, and then he was working with Suge Knight, doing security, although some claimed it wasn't on an official capacity, for Death Row Records, looking at their parties and such and things like that. They would Rightway Security, they would employ Compton PD officers and things of that nature to conduct their business for Mr. Knight.
And he also mentions Omar Bradley. Who's Omar Bradley?
Omar Bradley's former mayor of Compton, the city of Compton. He mentions Mr. Bradley saying that he was associated with Knight and the other Blood Pirate gang members.
Skip through the part. Top of page 4, he provides information, or at least asserts that Reggie Wright Jr. is distributing drugs out of a particular location, and even names some people that are helping with that.
Yes, he stated that Reggie Wright Jr. Had a drug distribution location, an auto body shop called Untouchables that was located. The shop was owned by an individual by the name of Melvin Hurd, and then Hurd, a guy by the name of G. Ray and Jim helped distribute cocaine from the shop.
He also mentions some people that work for Reggie Wright Jr. and assisting in the cocaine distribution.
Do y'all think when Keefe D was in there telling all this, what do y'all think he was eating? Do y'all think they gave him some Popeyes, some Waffle House? What was the dish he was eating when he was like? It sounded like he was like licking his finger and everything, yeah. And then they selling the dope over there, and then they got some cocaine. Boy, they're good. They got cocaine over there from Fats. Name is Fats. It's like he's eating, telling everybody. He's telling everything.
Yes, he stated that Reggie Wright Jr. had an individual by the name of Mob James, who was a member of the Mob Piru street gang, individual named Flip, who distributed out of a shop location on Compton Boulevard, and Harris. There was an individual known as Buntry. But we at the time we wrote it out as Bump Tree, but we believe that actually was an individual known as Buntry Al, or
Alton McDonald?
Yes.
Buntry, B-U-N-T-R-Y?
Yes. Alton McDonald, who was the brother of Mob James, which is James McDonald. Also another individual named Trayvon Lane, who was a Mob Pirate gang member, and then Kevin Woods.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
And then they can kind of read this themselves, but at some point he talks about an incident that occurs at a neighborhood mall involving a person named Marcus. What does he tell you about that?
Yeah, this is a few weeks before murder of Tupac Shakur. This individual, Marcus, who was a Southside Crip, was at a mall by himself. Several street gang members attacked him.
Now right here is where we get into the part where this all started. Okay. I got to see defense with this guy. I'm going to check that. I'm going to check into that. So this is where we start, where it all begins, right here.
A person named Marcus. What does he tell you about that?
Yeah, this is a few weeks before murder of Tupac Shakur. This individual, Marcus, who was a Southside Crip, was at a mall by himself. Several street gang members attacked him and started beating him up. Then an individual, Mr. Orlando Anderson, who was the cousin or nephew of Mr. Davis, observed what was happening and went in to help Marcus. And they beat up and fended off the other gang members.
And then he moves on to describe the incident at the MGM casino the night of Mr. Shakur's murder.
Yes, he did.
And what did he tell you?
He told us the day of the murder of Tupac Shakur that the Blood Street members, some Blood Street gang members saw at night, they saw Orlando Anderson they attacked him because of the previous incident at the mall. After the attack, Mr. Davis, Orlando Anderson, and their girlfriends went back up to their hotel room at the Excalibur Hotel, and he said that was it. They didn't have any involvement. They stayed in the room the rest of the night.
He tells you that the room was in Anderson's name.
Yeah, the room was in Anderson's name. That they'd driven up to Vegas from the LA area in a Land Cruiser, and that they had some other associates: Corey Edwards, Kevin Davis, Terry Brown, aka Bubble Up, Big Dre, and Wynn also traveled to Las Vegas. They stayed at the MGM.
And he repeatedly denies to you knowing who killed Tupac Shakur.
Yeah, he said they didn't have any knowledge of what happened, that they weren't involved. He did later speculate that maybe it was some Compton police officers that were working for Suge Knight, and that maybe it was because he had heard that Tupac was talking about possibly leaving Death Row Records or something to that effect. But
his suggestion was that perhaps Knight, who's driving the car, had Compton police officers shoot Tupac in the car Suge's driving.
yes, something to that effect.
I'm going to keep rolling down here. He gets back at page 5 to talking about Zip. So how does he tell you? Well, he talks about Zip and how he becomes associated with the Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah, he said that back in 93, 94, Zip introduced Davis to Notorious B.I.G. at Summer Jam concert.
My wife just bought me my iced coffee. Look, she be making these iced coffees, yo. Shout out to my wife.
And Davis would associate with Notorious B.I.G. when he was in LA area, but they never had any like drug connections or anything like that.
He tells you that he was actually at the Peterson Automotive Museum the night Mr. Wallace was killed.
That's correct, yes.
And that he saw some, at least people associated with Death Row Records at that location.
Yeah, he told us that prior to that, the night of the murder, Davis observed some females associated with Death Row Records at the party. He said, well, like Jewel, a singer, Lachelle, a comedian for Death Row, and Davis believes that they saw Mr. Wallace at the event, then called Blood gang members to come. Davis did say he observed Reggie Wright Jr. and DJ Quick, who was a performer for Death Row, Theo, a local disc jockey, and about 10 or 11 other Treetop, Fruitown Blood gang members arrived at the event. Davis told Mr. Wallace that they were to watch, that they were there and they should watch out. And then shortly thereafter, Mr. Wallace was shot, but Davis wasn't there. He didn't see who actually shot him.
But once again, he tells you that he believes that Reggie Wright Jr. and Blood gang members are the people that killed Mr. Wallace.
Yes, he said he believed that Reggie Wright Jr. and the Blood gang members associated with him were the ones responsible for killing Notorious B.I.G.
I'm wondering if this case is gonna bleed over into Biggie's case. Now that they doing all this discovery, Reggie Wright Jr. is in these documents for killing Biggie. So I wonder if this is gonna open up. Now we're gonna solve the Biggie murder too, because this seems to be coming full circle.
When asked who the individual was who actually killed him, based off of there was a composite drawing that was that had been provided and was kind of passed around, so we showed him that. Davis responded that the composite looked just like Reggie Wright Jr.
Damn, and Reggie was just in there testifying against him, man. This is getting interesting. I'm definitely got to see the defense on this. Like, I want to get to the defense.
And with
in terms of the At Fastly, we drive performance and security. Websites, apps, entertainment. Experiences everywhere your
I didn't cuss
audience
too
sees,
much on this
swipes,
show.
shop.
Task force here. We talked a little about the task force project, Safe Street. Is that what it was? Yes.
Yes.
Can you tell the jury a little bit of what that project was about?
So different squads had different elements working depending on what cities they were in. So we would have Inglewood PD,
Case recorders were.
You're invited to join Phoenix Energy's next webinar, where
Do
you can
y'all
drill deeper into our
hold on?
bond
This is
offering.
commercial.
We currently offer
Do
2.
y'all think that the defense is doing a good job?
on Anderson, but they weren't going to strike back with so many police
Do y'all think the defense is doing a good job?
officers around that they would have struck back once they returned to Compton.
So he indicates to you that he's angry enough to do it. It's just he planned on doing it back in Compton, which instead of in Las Vegas.
Yeah, if they were big, apparently it was because of police presence in the area, something of that nature.
I'm not going to go through all the rest of this. The jury can read sort of the rest of this. Let me just check the very bottom. No, thank you, Agent. That completes my questions.
Okay. Mr. Stamp, cross-examination.
Thank you, Honor. It's no longer special agent, or it's still special agent?
Either way is fine.
All right. We'll stick with Special Agent Lee.
Okay.
All right. Now, sir, fair to say, working for the FBI would have been something of an honor, I would imagine, working for an organization like that.
Yes.
Fair to say, of course, that working for the FBI, I would imagine that other people would consider that to be the creme de la creme of investigation throughout our entire country.
Yeah, some people would consider that, yes.
You put on seminars for law enforcement agencies throughout the country to help them with their investigative efforts, to help them become better police officers and detectives, fair?
You're talking about me specifically?
No. Well, you as the FBI.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And with regard to that, have you ever gone to Compton Police Department to learn how they do their investigative techniques, make yourself or your agency a better agency, or yourself as a better special agent?
I'm sorry, could you repeat?
Have you ever gone to Compton Police Department to see how they do their investigations to become a better agent yourself?
No, I did not.
All right. And once again, with regards to what you do as the FBI, you're very specific in your task, right? Your task is whenever there's a violation of federal law, for instance, you're the agency that would be tasked.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
Yeah.
With regards to federal law, if there's a violation of federal law, you're the agency that typically would be tasked with the investigation, right?
Correct.
Now, we talked a little bit about the 302s in this case. And a 302, and just for the jury's edification, when you say it's a sort of a means, it's really just a piece of paper and a pen, right?
It's a report.
Right. And so you are writing out what your impressions or recollection was of a specific event or time, right?
Correct.
So if you're sitting in a room and we're having a conversation, you would note in your report who's in the room and what your impressions were of what was said and who said what, right?
Correct.
Now, of course, juries here would be curious. You know, we have recorders now back in 1996, 1998 in this case. Recorders were available to the FBI, but of course, that's not how you do your job.
The use of recordings for the FBI they were not standard policy and procedure for the FBI at that period of time.
Yeah, and you've retired since what, 5 years ago?
Yes.
During that time period, has it changed in terms of that policy with the FBI?
During the time period that I've been retired,
Right. No, up until the time that you retired, has the policy changed?
the standard procedure is no, not to record.
Right. And so as a result of that, any recording that's done is typically not what the FBI does, right? You still focus on pen to paper recollection onto a 302.
Yes.
Okay. And so in terms of how you do it, the 302s that we read or at least saw put into the record is the work that you recall, your partner recalls during the course of an investigation.
Of that event, yes.
Okay. Now, in terms of the task force here, we talked a little about the task force project Safe Street. Is that what it was? Yes?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury a little bit of what that project was about?
The Safe Streets Task Force?
Yes.
So it's a compilation of multi-agencies directed to address gang activity within specific areas. So the Safe Streets Task Force initiative is a national initiative, but then there are fundings and directives that are sent to specific areas to address areas of high crime committed by gang activity.
Okay. And I would imagine gang activity would include violent crimes.
Correct.
As well as, say, in this case, drug dealing.
Drug trafficking, yes.
As long as it's associated with gangs.
Yes, primarily so, yeah.
Because, of course, you do have the DEA that also runs their own investigations as well.
DEA, ATF, yeah, we work with them.
Now, in terms of your, about this task force, can you tell us at the time when you were operating on it, who was on the task force?
Oh, I mean, there were several agencies in terms of specific agencies.
Well, just in terms of your working with other people, do you recall at all who it was that was working on the task force with you at that time?
Well, there were members of Los Angeles PD. We've had,
All right.
there was ATF.
I'm tired of this shit. This shit getting old. I'm tired of watching it. I'm over this. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's getting boring. What else is going on? What y'all want to talk about? I've been watching this shit for 2 hours. Oh gosh, let me stop cussing. I've been watching this for 2 hours now. I'm trying to stop all the cussing. Let's see what's going on else in the world. I don't know. Keefe D is probably not going to get off. I don't think so, but who knows? If he gets off, that'd be good for that attorney. Comes to find out that his attorney is not a public defender. His attorney is a private defender who took the case pro bono. And he took that case pro bono because, that's for advertisement. You know what I'm saying? It's like if he can win this, just imagine how his business will increase because it's such a high profile case. Here we go. Let's see what your president is talking about.
He has 57 very powerful nuclear weapons. Should have never allowed it to happen. They should have never allowed it. If I were president, I wouldn't have allowed it. But he's got them. I get along with him very well. I can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And I know Kim Jong-un very well, and he's going to be fine. As long as we have a smart president, he's going to be fine. If we have a dumb president, then he's probably not going to be so fine. Yeah, I will be. He has 57 very powerful nuclear weapons. Should have never allowed it to happen.
Why? Like, okay, what's the point? Like, what does North Korea have to, like, I don't care, bro, come on. North Korea got all that old equipment. We need to do something about America. Like, chill out. He trying to police the world and shit. Meanwhile, the whole infrastructure here is crumbling. It's crazy.
How much has hip hop?
I don't know why Trump talks like that. I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? Let's see.
How much you respect Dirk?
A lot. I do.
Yo, God, yo, chat. Watch this. Watch this. How much has hip hop paid us? Rap. How much has hip hop allowed you to feed your family?
Oh, a lot. So much.
The war was shot. I'm gonna just show you how fucked up the game is, right?
Uh-huh.
The war on Chirac started King Academics, right? DJ Academics, right?
Yeah, it's one of the things that I did. Okay.
You my friend, but I'm just showing you why I never fucking try to appeal to nobody. How much do you like Dirk's music? How much of a real nigga he is to you?
To me, Dirk is one of the realest niggas in hip hop. Period.
If he gets sentenced to life because of the war on Chirac and how much has helped you, are you willing to send? And I know you got it. Are you willing to send $500,000, $500,000 to his mom and his dad and say, hey, this might not be much, but this is enough to get you guys through the next 3 years, 4 years. You know, I'm saying, you know, your son and the whole conglomerate as the war on Chirac has helped me. Are you ready to do that? And this is split. Just be honest. Be honest.
Okay.
And it does. You don't have to.
No.
I'm just saying.
I'm always gonna be honest. I'm always gonna be honest. $500,000, that might be a stretch, but some contribution because honestly,
but listen to me. Now this way it gets real.
Okay.
You made a living off of it. You made millions. $500,000 should be nothing when it literally changed your life. The reason I know you, I used to get off of work and watch you talk about the war in Chirac. So $500,000 should be nothing to you because it literally. So this is what I'm saying. And this is not me putting a spot to you, my friend.
No, I know.
Fuck appealing to these niggas. Fuck appealing to these niggas. Niggas don't give a fuck about this shit, nigga. I walk shit down.
If Dirk went away for life and his family, the thing is, I'm not the guy who gives people's. I'm not the person who gives.
You're my friend. When I was going through my whole IRS shit, how much money I made at Elliott Grange?
You shit. I don't know if
What nigga, when I was going through that shit, what nigga with money called me and said, what you need?
No, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Y'all think Dirk going down? What y'all think? Let me know in the chat. I'm about to get the hell up out of here, man. We've been on here about 1:30. I'm gonna tap in with More Than Culture, see what they talking about for like 10 minutes. And then I'm gonna call it a day, guys. Well, that's it, guys. I'm out of here. See you guys tomorrow. We'll talk about something else. I think tomorrow I'm just gonna vibe with everybody, just go off the dome. I'm not even doing nothing. I'm just gonna talk. That's all I'm gonna do tomorrow. They call me LeVar Walker Talker for a reason. I'm gonna give y'all the talker side. So listen, man, thank y'all for tuning in, man. Be on the lookout. Pastor Mike coming real soon with Martin Lawrence and Joe Coyle. What? Holla at me, man. See y'all tomorrow.